Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Round 2 of the DHL Super Rugby Pacific delivered powerful emotions. Highlighted by Brumbies' historic victory over the Crusaders. Love rugby and the stories behind the game? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Round 2 of the DHL Super Rugby Pacific wrapped up with a range of emotions that, in my view, go far beyond a simple story of winning and losing. It was a round of shocks, of resilience under pressure, of joy mixed with disappointment, and of profound lessons about sport, humanity, and the journey of growth. What impressed me most was Brumbies' emphatic 50-24 victory over the defending champions, Crusaders, in Christchurch. This was not only a big win on the scoreboard but also a symbolic one, the first time since 2000 that they had beaten Crusaders on New Zealand soil. 2 decades of waiting, 2 decades of experience, setbacks, and ambition all seemed to converge in those 80 minutes. Looking back at the match, I see more than just a flurry of tries. I see patience in the way Brumbies built their game. They didn't panic after captain David Havili opened the scoring. Instead, they maintained their tempo, controlled the contest area, and waited for the right moments. The move that led to Andy Muirhead's try wasn't a spontaneous burst, it was the result of a well-structured system.
I was particularly moved to learn that this match also marked James Slipper's 200th Super Rugby appearance. In modern sport, where everything moves at relentless speed and pressure is intense, maintaining performance and durability across 200 matches is no small feat, and he wasn't just making up the numbers. He scored, he inspired, he embodied experience and perseverance. That's something money and titles alone cannot buy. As for Crusaders, I don't see this simply as decline. Every dynasty eventually faces a pause. Sport is never a straight, upward line. 2 losses to start the season don't erase their legacy. In fact, I believe setbacks like this are the true test of a once-dominant team. The question isn't, have they collapsed? But rather, how will they respond? Another common theme of the round was attacking explosiveness. Hurricanes scored 52 points against Moana Pacifica, including a hat-trick from Josh Morby. On paper, it may look one-sided. But when I read head coach Clark Laidlaw's comments about Brett Cameron's knee injury, I was reminded of another side of sport. Behind the spotlight lies constant risk. Cameron worked incredibly hard to return from last year's ACL injury. His comeback wasn't just a medical story, it was a story of willpower. Yet once again, he faces the possibility of another long-term absence. It makes me reflect deeply. In life, some people overcome hardship only to face new challenges. Fairness does not always exist in the short term. What defines a person is not whether misfortune strikes, but how many times they rise again.
Elsewhere, Waratahs defeated Fijian Drua 36-13. What stood out to me wasn't just Max Jorgensen's tries or Ion Moananu's impressive debut, but the difference in sharpness. Drua have speed and passion, but at this level, as the coach noted, small details, technical execution, split-second decisions, and clinical finishing are the line between competing and losing. The Highlanders versus Chiefs clash gave me a different feeling, the fragility of moments. A dropped pass, a quick tap, a yellow card, everything can shift instantly. That's elite sport. Mistakes are not just punished, they are magnified. Yet I also saw resilience in the way Highlanders fought to the end for a bonus point. The Western Force versus Blues matchup reflected differences in squad depth. Force managed to narrow the gap to just 1 point at times, but Blues knew when to accelerate. It reminds me of life, not everyone who starts strong finishes strong. What matters most is the ability to sustain performance and adapt strategy when circumstances change.
From this entire round, I draw a major personal lesson: never let the past, whether glory or failure, define the limits of the present. Brumbies went 2 decades without beating Crusaders away from home. Had they been haunted by history, they might have lost before stepping onto the field. Instead, they chose to rewrite the story. For fans, this round reminds us that sport is not a place for extremes. Today you celebrate, tomorrow you may feel disappointed. The true value of support lies in long-term loyalty. Don't dismiss a team after a few losses, and don't idolize them after a single big win. For the broader community, what happens on the field reflects many life lessons: teamwork, discipline, adaptability, and resilience in adversity. Injuries like Brett Cameron's remind us to care more about athlete welfare. Explosive performances remind us that investing in youth development and squad depth is a long-term strategy, not just a one-season story. Personally, after reflecting on this round, I feel I've learned to remain calmer amid fluctuations. Thought shows me that every result is the outcome of a process. No shock is entirely random. Behind Brumbies' 50-24 victory are years of building. Behind Crusaders' inconsistency may lie a transitional cycle. If I had to sum it up in one message for YouTube, it would be this: sport is where truth is revealed most honestly. When the final whistle blows, there is no room for illusion. Yet within that harsh reality, people find the opportunity to grow. Round 2 is over, but the season's journey is long. And I believe the true beauty of DHL Super Rugby Pacific lies not only in the numbers on the scoreboard, but in the stories of effort, belief, and the courage to rise after every fall.
Round 2 of the DHL Super Rugby Pacific has come to a close with resilience and surprises. Most notably ACT Brumbies' victory over the Crusaders. Thank you for watching.